Staging can be the difference between a quick, profitable sale and a property that lingers on the market. But is it worth the investment for real estate investors? Let's find out. And I want you to stick around to the end because I'm going to show you my #1 tip that I have learned from my own experience about staging success should you decide to move on with staging. If you want more strategies to optimize your portfolio, be sure to download my Freedom Blueprint at adriennegreen.com. It's packed with actionable tips to help you scale your portfolio smarter. The link is in the show or podcast notes as well, adriennegreen.com.
What are you waiting for? Chinese New Year?
So staging pops up when you decide to sell a property. Selling a property is a really strategic move in your real estate journey. It's often a key step in leveling up your portfolio and reaching your investment goals. It's funny, we all think when we buy our first investment property that we're going to have it until we die and our children are going to get the step up in basis and it's going to be amazing. And then once you get a few years under your belt as an investor or a few properties, you evolve, you level up. And just like most people don't live in their first house for their entire lives, most real estate investors don't keep their first investment property for their entire lives as well. So we often come to the point of selling, and that's when we need to consider staging. Now, I, as a real estate agent and investor, believe 100% in staging.
I like that.
And I want to share through this video why, so that you as an investor can also see that and hopefully take advantage of it because it should help you make more money. Staging a house makes the home sale process smoother. It helps you sell the house faster, which feels good and makes it less work and less time for you. And it brings you more money. And this we have seen statistically. It's not just anecdotal. They have evaluated it and seen that that's all the case. But let's talk about why it works, when it's worth it, how to do it effectively. All those details you need in order to do it well. The psychology of staging and why it works. Staging is more than just decorating. It's really about creating an emotional connection between buyers and the property so that they can see themselves in that home, so they can see people living there and they can want to buy it. Now, you may counter and say, well, I'm selling an investment property and the next buyer is likely an investor as well. They still want to see that house look its best and see what it would be like for people to live there. And even for investors, staging the property helps them envision that and makes it so that your house sells faster and for more money. One of the really important things that we want to keep in mind with staging, or one of the aspects of psychology that comes into play here, is first impressions. Buyers are often forming an opinion within seconds of walking into that home, and staging helps ensure that that first impression is a positive one. And that's part of why staging often includes the front porch or that entryway. And why does staging help? Why can't people just do it themselves? Well, many buyers struggle to envision an empty space as a home. Staging gives context. It shows how rooms could be used. It shows how much furniture can fit in there because empty rooms often look smaller, and it makes the property feel more inviting. Another thing about staging, stagers use nice furniture, right? The houses always look really nice. So staging also taps into the psychology of aspiration. When buyers see a beautifully staged home, they picture themselves living there and they're more likely to make an offer, right? We don't stage homes with like your old couch from college or your parents' hand-me-downs. And when buyers walk in, they may be living in a house with an old couch from college or the parents' hand-me-downs, but they view, wow, if I moved into this house, I could have a beautiful couch like this one. I could have a beautiful home like this one. I could have a home where there's not laundry piled on the couch all the time or things like that. It really creates a vision of a life that they could have there. And even for investors, having that staging shows, hey, this could be a home for someone. This looks nice. I could have a beautiful investment property like this one looks like, right? Everybody has an ego and this taps into it. And there's data to back this up. According to the National Association of Realtors, or NAR, 82% of buyers agents say staging makes it easier for their buyers to visualize a property as their future home. So we agree that staging is going to help you sell the house faster and for more money. The thing is it going to make you money? Is it going to make you more money? As an investor, every dollar you spend needs to show a return. And here's why staging is often worth the investment. As you know, if a house sits on the market, it usually has price drops. Staged homes sell faster. A professionally staged home spends 73% less time on the market compared to those without staging, according to professional staging. And staged homes sell for 25% more money than homes without staging. And the references for this are below, so you can click and check them out to verify. So while you will spend some money on staging, you're going to make more money on the home sale, and it's going to more than pay for that home staging and then some. And the good news is you don't have to stage the entire house. Most stagers offer packages that focus on the high impact rooms, and it's a very affordable package, and that's what I would recommend for an investor. So what are those key rooms to stage? First, the living room. Staging this room is the most important room to buyers, with 39% saying it's their top priority. And I think part of this is because the living room is one of the first rooms to enter, and so it helps with that first impression. Second room that you want to consider is the kitchen, often the deal maker or the deal breaker. Staging here, you want to highlight the functionality and appeal. 30% of buyers prioritize this room and want to see it staged. And the great thing about staging the kitchen is some kitchens are awkward, especially older houses, but staging can highlight what works well in the kitchen so people don't notice any awkwardness. Little pro tip. The next most important thing I think for staging is most stagers in their package will often include the dining room with the kitchen so that people can see that whole shebang of living and dining and kitchen. Finally, the last area you want to consider as a high priority for staging is the master suite, that primary bedroom and bathroom. You want to create a retreat-like feel that appeals to nearly every buyer. 36% of buyers prioritize this space and want to see it staged. So we're really looking at the living, kitchen, dining, and then the master suite. We don't need to see all the other bedrooms or all the other bathrooms. Those are the key high impact areas. And so you can usually get those staged for a pretty affordable rate. I can't give a number because it's going to vary a lot based on your market. I've seen it from anywhere from $1 to a few more thousand, but you can start typically as low as $1,000 to get those houses. The price is going to vary depending on your specific market. I've seen a package that can stage those for a couple of months from anywhere from $1,000 up to several $1,000 depending on your market, the house size, and those details. But typically, the price relates to the sales price, and you are going to see that it's going to make you money. Now, let's handle some questions I get about this a lot. And one of the top ones is, what about virtual staging? Do I really need to pay $1,000 or more for real staging? Why not just pay a couple $100 to get some photos virtually staged? Now, I acknowledge this is my personal opinion. I just think real staging is so effective and so great that it's silly not to do it. Virtual staging is a poor substitute. It reminds me of those videos we see online where it's like the Instagram versus the reality. Real staging is like that Instagram. You go there, it's beautiful, it's nice, it's exactly what you expected. Virtual staging is like the reality where it looked like one thing in photos and then you show up and it's nothing like that. And that's always a disappointing feel. Virtual staging may get more people in the door because those listing photos might look nice, but I think it often falls short of actually closing the deal. Buyers are still seeing properties in person. Even if they're a long distance buyer, they're sending their agents out to take photos and do video tours, and an empty home feels cold and uninviting. Actual physical staging is so much more effective at creating the emotional effect that's really leading to offers. I'd like to say, people are buying a home, not a house, and physical staging is really giving you that home feel and that emotional connection. So if your goal is to sell quickly and for top dollar, physical staging is the way to go. Now, the last part we're going to talk about with staging, and I've saved the best for last here, guys. This is my wisdom from my personal experience with clients and my own investment properties, the importance of timing. Everybody doesn't think about staging until the last minute, or they're like, okay, I'm ready to take photos. Let's call the stager. Stagers are typically booked out weeks in advance. Once you know that you're going to sell a property and you have a timeline for when that property is going to go on the market, you need to start talking to the stager then. You need to say, this is my date for photos. When can I get you in? So you need to plan ahead. Have it in your plan from the minute you decide to sell this property that you're going to use stagers. Don't let it be a last minute thing, and interview them, see if their availability, see what their schedule works. And second, coordinate with your photos. You need to get the staging in before professional photos are taken. And I have seen so often with all the chaos of listing a property, coordinating this timeline can be last minute. So make sure that you're getting the furniture in a day or two before the photos, so you've got a little wiggle room in case anything pops up. And then if your timeline shifts, you need to notify your stager immediately. Make sure you communicate with them or have your agent or whoever's handling this. But we want to make sure that if anything shifts, because that happens a lot with house sales, that you let the stager know. So this is my top tip for dealing with staging as a real estate investor. Add it as a non-negotiable in listing your properties for sale. Put it on your list of things you do when you sell a property and make sure that you get it figured out early on as soon as you decide to sell a house. So often I see that investors don't think about it and then they want to maybe stage after it's sat on the market for a few weeks, and then guess what? The stager's booked out 2 to 4 weeks, if not more. And you don't want to commit to that staging because what if your house goes under contract? And it becomes this really messy situation. So avoid all of that and get your house the most looks, the best chance of selling for the most money by planning on getting staging in there from the beginning. Just do those key rooms, don't stress about everything else, and realize that the numbers show it's going to be worth it and it more than pays for itself. So, in conclusion, I think you have seen that I have a strong opinion on this and I highly recommend staging your house to sell. It's not an expense. It's an investment in making yourself more money and in saving you time by having a faster, more profitable sale. You focus on high impact rooms, you plan ahead, and you are then leveraging the psychology of staging, of home buying in your favor. It's an awesome, super powerful thing. And if you want more strategies to optimize your investments, be sure to download my Freedom Blueprint at adriennegreen.com. All the tips and tricks that I've used and I'm sharing with you to help you run your portfolio like a business. Thank you so much for joining me this week, and I look forward to chatting with you again next week with more wisdom about real estate investing.